You match with somebody on a dating app and you do a little background investigative research. We're talking about Googling, finding their LinkedIn. I understand if you've been burned in the past and you want the verification. Who is this person? What is their deal? Are they who they say they are, or are they lying to me? Okay, I'm going to tell you something straight up. I'm going to back the F up right now. Welcome to Carla Turned On, where dating gets real, sex gets talked about, and the BS gets left on red. Let's get turned on. I do not ever think it is a good idea to Google somebody unless something is sus and it is weird and it is off and you're like, something doesn't feel right. I need to do a little bit digging just to make sure I'm not going out with a serial killer. The reason being is there's a couple reasons, but number one, when you research somebody way too much, you feel like you know who they are. You might have even built an entire persona, life. You might have even pictured how they talk, their interactions. Then you go on the date and they are not like what you thought. And now you're grappling with, well, they're not who I thought they were. And this idea that I built up in my head, do I actually like them? I don't think so. Oh, this feels weird. It feels off. No. Don't do that. The other thing, too, that I'm just going to say about looking people up, if you are going on that first date and their profile on their app checks out, everything looks good. There's no sketchy shit going on. You're like, yeah, okay, I'm just curious for myself. Wait until you go on that date. Wait until you go on that date. Because if you start to create the narrative, like I said before, and the story of who they are, and they don't turn out to be that way, or you already know things to ask them, so you're not surprised when they share something, or you lack asking them, that's where I would just say take a step back and just kind of think for a moment here. What is the point of me going on the date? Is it to learn everything about this person and have this background profile on them? And like I said, I understand some people, maybe you, have been burned in the past and it's scary for you. So doing a quick check is just reassurance. Okay, fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. But if you are doing this and everything is good to go and you just want to do your research, don't do it. Just don't. Just show up and get to know that person. When I was dating, I refused to look people up. And I'm going to back up here. I was on the OG Tinder when Bumble and Hinge didn't exist, or the other apps. It was the dating app back in the day in my early 20s, and that's how I was dating and getting to know people. It was a weird concept to me. I felt uncomfortable. And yes, I would Google people. And then when I'd go through breakups and get back on the apps, because we all know how that goes if you've been there before, I would stop Googling people. I just made sure their profile looked good and I would go on the date with them and learn about them there. So glad that I did that. Of course, I had ways to vet people, and I talk a lot about this in Swipe Match Spark, the ultimate dating app guide that you can find in the show notes, or carlaromo.com, that helped me decide, okay, are these red flags, are these green flags on the dating apps? Do they say or seem to be who they say they are? Great, okay, good. They want something real. We're having a conversation. Like, I was able to vet all that stuff out, so I felt comfortable meeting up with people. The last round of dating, which is how I met my husband on a dating app, I can tell you right now that I did not look people up. And everything that I shared, like I said, in Swipe Match Spark, helped me because I went on quality dates with quality people. And I wasn't just going on dates with people who maybe seemed sketch or I wasn't sure of. Like I said, if you are not sure, okay, if you're just like, I don't know, something feels off, it's weird, fine, Google, whatever. But if everything checks out, just go on the date. Just go on the date. Enjoy it. Look at their profile. That's what they want you to see right now. Ask them questions. See how you feel on the date. Get a feel for them and get to know them there. Don't get to know the background of them and then go on the date. But I am super excited to dive in today to talk about my turned off rant of why I do not believe you are dating to make friends. No new friends here. All right, that is the motto right now. No new friends, because when you are dating, you are not looking to make friends. You are dating to date and find your person. And I have a lot to say about that, a lot to share about that, how I see that pop up with clients, how it popped up with me in the past. And like I said, I'm going to wait a little bit. I know, getting hot and bothered about this, but my turned off rant is going to happen in just a moment, so hang tight. And we're going to talk about mainly what it's like dating after a toxic relationship and how you get triggered, how to deal with that, what healthy dating even feels like once that relationship is done and you kind of, okay, bye. And then we're going to dive into Taco Bout It, which is all about talking about coming in orgasms. And we are going to discuss how to set the mood for sex, or how to just set the mood so foreplay, how to set the mood for kissing, how to set the mood for all the physical sexuality stuff. But first, let's get turned off. You are dating to find your person. And maybe you're sitting here thinking, I'm not sure yet. And that's fine. But if you are intentionally dating right now, you're like, I am ready, Carla, to settle down. I am ready to meet my person. I'm ready to get married. Maybe you don't want marriage. Maybe you just want kids. Maybe you don't want kids. Maybe you just want marriage. I don't care. You are intentionally dating. You are not looking to add friends to your dating roster. If you just moved somewhere, or maybe friend groups have shifted, or your friends are all taken, expand your friend group, but not through dating. Expanding your friend group, not through dating, looks like joining co-ed activities, hobbies, getting into something new that you want to do. It does not look like, hey, we're on a dating app, let's be friends first and go from there. That is giving I am non-committal and I am not looking for something serious. Also, side note, when people say, oh, let's just be friends or let's see how that goes, I like to get the friend vibe first and then just kind of feel it out. No, to me, you are putting up the ultimate block. You are giving avoidant attachment style. You might even be giving I'm emotionally unavailable. And maybe for you, you're on the flip side. You're like, I know I'm not avoidant. I know I'm anxiously attached and I don't want to scare them off. So I say the friend things just to like put a buffer between it so that they don't get scared. No, scare them. Scare them the F away. If they are chicken shit, you guys remember that chicken shit? Wasn't there like a Disney movie, Little Chicken or something? I don't know. Okay, I digress. If they are scared and you scare them off, wonderful. I am so happy that you didn't end up with somebody who can't talk about the fact that you're dating intentionally and that you don't want to just become friends with them. Here's the deal. When you try to become friends with somebody that you're dating, we're not talking about post-dating. We are talking about while you're dating. You are creating a serious barrier for anything to progress forward. You now are actually creating more hurdles than the, hey, I know we've been going on 5 dates, just checking in, seeing how the vibe is going. That is so much more easy to have a conversation around and to progress further than the, hey, just trying to feel it out. Let's take it slow. Let's just kind of like hang out. No. I'm going to tell you right now that when I was dating, I met up with a guy from the apps, and the first date was good. He was fine. I was willing to give it a second date. We had some things in common. He was studying to be a therapist, so I was like, that's cool. Dating and relationship coach, so we have some self-growth stuff in common. And then after the date, I texted, had a great time, would love to do it again. He's like, yeah, let's do it. That sounds great. He invited me to his friend's karaoke party. And I just thought, nah, I will tell you right now, going to a friend's karaoke party is giving me chill vibes, is giving me friend vibes, is not giving me dating vibes. If somebody actually wants to intentionally date, why would I go meet their friends on a second date? I spent an hour and a half with this dude. All of a sudden now I'm meeting his friends? No, I'm not about to friend zone myself. And I'm not going to be put into a situation where I'm going out with somebody who all of a sudden I'm meeting their friends. He's clearly not taking dating seriously. And on the flip side, it also looks like hookup vibes. I'm just going to be real with you because that just feels super casual. Why are you on the apps? Why are you inviting me to your friend's birthday? 2 dates in when I told you that I am intentionally dating and you said you were too. So this is giving me, nah. You have to think about here. When you are going on dates, you are intentional about the people you're going out with. Your friends, you can always build those. You can build it in the background. But whether you're on apps or you're meeting up with people or you're getting set up or you're going to dating events, you don't need to befriend the person that you're romantically looking to get involved with. Happy dating. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship? Well, I can help. I feel like I'm one of those like info commercials where it's like, been in a toxic relationship, call now. Get the help you need so that you don't ever feel triggered with dating again. All right, I'm going to be real with you. I have been in plenty of toxic and unhealthy relationships. And if you don't like the word toxic, let's label it codependent relationships, abusive relationships, these relationships that were just not healthy for me. So you can define what toxic looks like. You can define what unhealthy looks like. You can define what emotional unavailability looked like in that relationship that was unhealthy, right? I'm going to let you define however that looks to you because that is your story and your past. But here you are and you're dating again, which kudos to you because it is so difficult to go from a very unhealthy situation and then back into dating. And there's two options that people go. People either dive right back into the dating scene and are trying to get over their ex or trying to find that person that's going to fix whatever happened in the past, or they just go completely, nah, I'm not going to date ever again. Where it is important to go is inward. So, whether you're getting pulled in one direction or the other, the most important thing that you can actually do for yourself is to take a moment and look inward. What do you need for yourself right now? I never suggest the second that a toxic relationship ends, getting right back into another one. Been there, done that, can tell you from experience, it does not end well because you are never actually healing and grieving. You're taking whatever happened in the past and applying it right into that next relationship versus working through those things. Why did that relationship not work out? What was your part in it? And I'm not blaming you if you were in an abusive relationship or somebody treated you really shitty. I am not blaming you. But we all have part in terms of our role of picking people or our role in lying about the red flags, right? It can be a variety here. There isn't a right or wrong. But what was your part? Doing a reflection of that, allowing yourself to grieve, to grow. And when you are ready to date again, I'm going to tell you right now, don't be like, I am swearing off dating. Nobody works. I've been in these relationships over and over again. Like, it's over. I have had so many clients have success of repeating unhealthy relationships or being in a 10-year toxic abusive relationship, then dating in a healthy way again and navigating that space when triggers come up, when you're unsure, do I actually really trust myself? I may know what the red flags are, but do I trust myself to actually follow them? Yes. Believe in yourself. There is no getting it perfect. There's no getting it right. But what you can do is you can make that promise to yourself that you're not going to self-abandon. You can make that promise to yourself that you're going to look out for yourself. And you can make that promise to yourself that you are so deserving of being with somebody who is going to treat you amazing. You are so deserving of finding that person that thinks the world of you and is going to love you and wants to work through things with you, isn't going to abandon you, isn't going to leave you, isn't going to lie to you, is going to be honest in all the green flags. All right, so let's go into the dating side of all of this. You are either on the apps or you're joining things or you're going to singles meetups or maybe you're doing it all. It doesn't matter, but you are open to dating. You're ready for it. Maybe you've told your friends, yeah, I'm finally going to start dating again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for myself. And you feel scared or maybe you feel ready. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, at the end of the day, when you are coming out of a situation or have come out of the situation, you've taken some time to yourself, a little breathe, a little work, and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. These are the 3 steps that I need you to pay attention to so that you are looking out for yourself in this situation. Hey, real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want dating support, don't forget to look in the notes below where you can learn all about my guides and how to work with me. And if you want to follow me on my socials, you can find me anywhere at I am Carla Romo. Let's get turned on. Number 1, know what your red flags and deal breakers are. That is first and foremost. I had a list of deal breakers that I was not going to bend. Like those were unbendable deal breakers. They were hard. What's like tungsten or what's something that doesn't break that is just like so hard to cut through? Those are my deal breakers, right? And that's what you want. You want to know what the red flags are for you. Red flags look different for everybody. I know. I'd sit there and talk a lot about red flags, and I talk about it in my book, Contagious Love, Break Free from Codependency for Damn Good, and I have a whole section on red flags. But red flags can also look different to other people. But what are some of those bigger red flags? In your gut, maybe you're like, yep, I know it's a red flag when my gut starts roaring. Or maybe you struggle identifying the gut feeling within, but it doesn't matter here. The goal is to know What are those red flags and what are my deal breakers? As I like to tell people, and I'm going to tell you, they can shit gold. But if they have that deal breaker, it's out. It's out. They're non negotiables here. And you've got to listen to that because this is you making that promise to yourself that nobody else can touch. You are creating that relationship within, that foundation that, yeah, you can trust yourself and that, yes, you have a path forward. You know what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, and how you want to go after that. Don't paint those red flags green. And here's the other thing, too, that will help keep you accountable is talk to a really good friend. You don't have to talk to everybody. Or if you're like, I don't really want to share my dating life with my friends, write down in a journal after a date what happened that made you kind of feel a little anxious, made you feel a little like, oh, these could be red flags, or is this a deal breaker? Write it down because sometimes it's helpful to get it outside of our minds, put it on paper, and then we can go back and reflect. Or if something feels weird in a couple dates, we can go back and look at that paper and be like, oh yeah, this all lines up. This is weird. Or maybe you're like, I'm overthinking this, which leads me to number 2. Don't react, respond to those triggers. It is so normal. And once you get in relationships, this is normal too, to get triggered when you are dating again. It's going to happen. Just because you're triggered doesn't mean the person's a red flag. Just because you're triggered doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Just because you're triggered doesn't mean it's all starting over again and you're never going to have success with dating. What is so important when you are getting triggered is to respond versus react. So yes, we are going to think about having a little toolbox with us or a backpack or a purse or a suitcase, whatever you want your toolbox to be. And you have little things that you can put in there. So if you know you're triggered, instead of reacting, maybe you get a text and you're like, oh, my ex did this, or it's a familiar feeling. It's not even a memory. It's just a feeling. And you're like, this makes me mad. I'm going to tell him XYZ. Pause. That's in the toolbox. Take a pause. Another thing you can put in the toolbox, go for a walk. Another thing you can put in the toolbox, meditate. Another thing you can put in the toolbox, call a friend who you trust and has the best intentions for you. I understand sometimes we have friends who like to gossip. They want to know all about your single life. They want to swipe on the weekends. Let me see your dating app. Let's see who you're talking to. And you're like, please stop. This feels invasive. Call the friend who's not going to be that friend. And I'm not saying that friend is a bad friend, but find the friend who is non-judgmental that you feel safe with and who is genuinely looking out for you. But you want to respond versus react to it. Get clear on that trigger. Is what's coming up for me something that is historical? Or is it because the person really is a red flag and this makes me feel really uncomfortable? And whoa, I recognize this. Kudos to me for recognizing it. You're building trust with yourself and I don't want this in my life. And number 3, look for the green flags. Do not look for the red flags. Trust that you have those red flags. And number 1, you know what those red flags are. You know exactly what to do about them, what those look like, what it feels like. Maybe if your gut feels off, you're like, yeah, I know that feeling. You know how to look for those red flags. Look for the green flags. It is so normal that when you go back into dating again to want to self-protect, you don't want that shit to happen again. What you went through was awful. Why would you want to rinse and repeat, right? Isn't that like the cycle? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's like, you don't want that shit. You want to be able to rinse and never repeat. You want that water going down the drain and never coming back out again. So here is what I want to emphasize. Look for the green flags. Don't become so looking for the green flags that now you've swung the pendulum all the way to the other side, that you're in la la land and you're only looking for good things. And it's okay that he does this, this, and this, because then you're painting red flags green again. What I want you to do is look for the things that are right about the person. Because when you are dating again, sometimes it can feel boring because your nervous system was so out of whack before, where it was these high highs, the low lows. Maybe it was just the up and downs, the instability. And even if that's kind of actually at the end of the day what kept you and tied you to that person, that little button that can get pushed, the ups and downs, right, can easily get pushed again, feel familiar. But what you want to do is to look and focus on the things that are right here, even if it feels boring. Because when your nervous system is feeling steady and you're stable and everything feels great, you might be like, crickets, this is it. This is all there is to life. This is all there is to dating. What do I have to work for? And if you start feeling that way, that is a massive indication to take a time out, take that pause. We are not reacting, we are responding. Take that pause and ask yourself, what is going on with me? Something is being activated within. Here I feel bored. And all of a sudden, I don't know if I want to be with this person. I don't know. They're great. Everything's perfect, but I'm just not feeling that excitement. That excitement is that up and down nervous system. Now, on the flip side, if you have nothing in common with this person, please don't go out with them. All right, there's plenty of nice people, men and women out there who are very kind, nice, great people, but if you don't have things in common, they are boring. They are boring. We are talking about the body sensation. You have all these things in common. They're super nice. They're great. They actually plan the dates or they show up on the dates. They don't reschedule. They offer to split the bill, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. And you're just like, oh, it just feels like something's missing. There's such a nice person. I just don't know. I would take a beat and look within. What is going on within? Because those are green flags, right? It's all green flags. So taking a step back and doing some work within, being open to the work is also important. Looking at this as a journey. Just because you went to therapy or you worked with me as your coach around your past relationship and moving forward to date again, and you're getting triggered, doesn't mean game over. And that is so key here. As somebody who has been in a lot of unhealthy relationships in the past, I had significant trauma from them. And yes, you could even take it further back and say, yes, the childhood trauma started in childhood, which is why I attracted certain people and blah, 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 all the stuff. But I will tell you that I did have trauma in my past and I worked through it. And then I got triggered when I was dating again. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I getting triggered? Oh my gosh, maybe I'm regressing. But no, you're not regressing. And that moment of, oh my gosh, maybe I'm regressing, you don't have to live in it. You have your toolbox to pull you out, to remind yourself, look at all this work that you've done on yourself. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you are deserving of finding somebody who is fucking awesome. And I always say, doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, who either meets you at your level or surpasses you, because that is the badass that you are. You are worthy of finding somebody who is fucking fantastic. Are you ready to talk about it? We are going to be talking about coming in orgasms, but most importantly, before we talk about coming in orgasms, we're going to be tacoing about, you like the little wordplay there? We're going to be tacoing about setting the mood for those coming in orgasms, right? For the sex, for the foreplay, for the kissing, for the intensity, whatever you want to call it, and what that looks like. Now, those blue sheets, if you know what I'm talking about when I say those navy blue sheets, oh gosh, those navy blue sheets. I am not hating on navy blue sheets, but the social media world hardcore hated on men having navy blue sheets. Women, ladies, you, maybe you're a man, maybe you're a woman, I don't know. If you're a woman listening right now, you, yes. And dudes who are like, well, I'm a dude listening. That's okay. I'll talk to you in a second. If you're a woman who's listening, you know what I'm talking about. That was like all over social media and everybody's like, oh my gosh, don't date a man with navy blue sheets, or oh my God, he had navy blue sheets. If you're a dude, you probably have picked out navy blue sheets. Why wouldn't you? It's just sheets. You're like, oh, that's a cool color. Great. They get a bad rap. I actually don't think it's a red flag. I don't think it's a mood killer. I think that social media got out of hand. There are bigger things, a lot bigger things that are mood killers that you should absolutely be concerned about, like somebody having an extremely dirty bedroom. I get we're all messy in our own right. And if you're single, you just kind of throw your shit wherever and do your thing. And if you have roommates, obviously in the common space, maybe you try to be a little bit more, appropriate. Maybe you try to be a good roommate and keep it clean, but maybe in your bedroom, you're just like, fuck it, I don't care, clothes here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you go to somebody's place and They haven't tried to clean their bedroom for you. That is a absolute mood killer. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, you are not setting the mood. You are desetting the mood. You are unmooding. If that's a word. We're unmooding right now on Carla Turned On. If you don't clean your sheets, if you don't put all your laundry in a basket, or just for the love of God, if you have a closet space, shove all the shit there. Don't let them open it and clean everything else. There's ways to keep it clean. Another simple one is like make your bed, right? I mean, we're just talking about like basic hygiene right now that I understand. Sometimes we're tired or we're going through seasons in life or just busy and we're working a lot or whatever and you don't have time. But if somebody is maybe even the slight chance that somebody could come back with you, whether it's a date, I don't know, maybe you're just hooking up, going out to the bar, whatever, still doesn't matter. All of the things, okay? Obviously, we're talking about people who are seriously dating and wanting a relationship with somebody and how to set the mood. But if you got that situationship or whatever, this counts too. You don't want to be gross. You want to be clean. You want to be hygienic because that makes people feel safe. It makes them feel comfortable. And when we're talking about having sex with somebody, we want to feel comfortable. We want to feel good. Thinking about things like lighting in your place. What lights do you have in your bedroom? And maybe it's a lamp, and that is great. You don't have to have the overhead fluorescent lights. And I would say anything overhead fluorescent, you just probably want to rethink. And I'm not saying that you should just turn off the lights when you have sex, because I will tell you right now that keeping the lights on, you can actually see everything. Unless it's your thing to kind of have more sensory overload. But honestly, yeah, keep the lights on for the visual presentations and then the touch and all those things. It's all happening sensory overload at once. I'm also all for women having condoms and I'm all for men having condoms. Both people should have condoms. I know a lot of women are like, well, I think he should have it. No, you need to protect yourself. You need to look out for yourself. If you are having sex with somebody who is new and you haven't really talked about STIs and testing and all that kind of stuff, you definitely want to make sure that you are protecting you. That is first and foremost. Even if you're on birth control, it doesn't matter. We're talking about STIs right now. We're talking about self-care, your own health. But having those on hand also can help with setting the mood. So nobody's running around, leaving, and then running to to Walgreens. Is Walgreens, do they still exist? I think they got bought out. Anyways, running around and then all of a sudden it's like, they don't have condoms. What's going on? Now, oh gosh, the mood, whatever. Or maybe you're not running around and you're taking a few risks here that you probably don't want to take for your own safety and their safety. Another thing when we talk about sensory overload. So obviously, setting the mood, we got the lighting, you want to make sure you have protection, the smells. The smells. What is the aroma in your place? I understand if you have roommates or somebody's cooking something or you cook something and it's like, okay, maybe the smell doesn't matter. What are you doing to make it feel a little more welcoming? Candles are great. Men, dudes, you guys can have candles. Doesn't have to just be women. Candles are great. Finding ways to kill odors. Vacuuming is also a big thing. Making sure the floor is clean. All of those things are so important because you don't want to just like show up and then have somebody walking around and have shit all on the floor and then it's just like gross and the smells are, it's like not great. And no, we're not talking about like Axe body spray. We're talking about something that smells good, that somebody is like, yeah, this is nice. I like it. And now we're going into the audio piece. And we're not talking about just you having the audio. We're talking about how do we set the mood with audio. If you are a music person, don't type in romantic playlist and just go for it on Spotify. Find music that you actually enjoy and that you actually like. That is important because nobody wants to just be like, okay, these are all these cliche songs and now it just feels awkward and uncomfortable. Maybe you guys all have a good sense of humor and you guys can laugh about it. But ultimately, that also can set the mood. It could start to make you feel good, but it shouldn't be something that is so cliche that then it's like awkward and weird and then that takes you out of the mood. So feel free to create your own playlists. It's fine to get inspo from a playlist that is sexy time playlist. Fine, whatever. I'm not saying not to because I think inspiration is good. But what are the songs that you like? What are ways to make it comfortable? That is the key here. I want you to really think about for yourself, your space. What would it be like to make your space feel welcoming? Or on the flip side, what would it be like to go to somebody else's and to feel like, oh, this feels good. This is nice. At the end of the day, you want to feel comfortable. If you're going to have sex with somebody, or you're just going to make out, or you're going to have foreplay, or do some other things, whatever, you want to feel comfortable doing it. And if you're feeling kind of grossed out by what's on the sheet, when was the last time that they were washed? Could they have slept with somebody else and not washed the sheets? And now I'm sleeping in this bed because that feels really gross. Sloppy seconds. Yuck. You get the point. Make it so you feel comfortable, they feel comfortable, and then you could just focus on having that damn good time together. Loved this episode? Rate it 5 stars, hit that subscribe button, baby, and leave a review. Do you want to work with me? Grab my dating courses, apply for my coaching at carlaromo.com or find it all in the show notes, and give me a little follow at I am Carla Romo on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Catch you next time and stay tuned. Carla Turned On is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not a substitute for therapy. For professional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider.